Hey guys, so for your lesson today, we're going to talk about a few research resources that are listed in Schoology and that we're going to use for the rest of this school year. As you know, last week we're coming off of our topic, our global Black Lives Matter movements, and today we're taking a break to look at some, like I said, resources and databases and websites that we'll continue to use and we'll use into our second practice topic, which is digital privacy and artificial intelligence. And that's really kind of in name only. Obviously, we'll do some writing and some thinking about that topic, but our real focus, just like with our previous unit, was on like analyzing text and visuals. Our real focus with this practice topic is to get some experience using all of these resources. So I want to show you under the Resources tab, there's a folder called Research Resources. Again, you'll use this all year long. So the first two items here deal with the large and purchased research databases that are located on the library website. So if you go to overtonlibrary.com/student resources, you'll find each of these databases. Hopefully these are familiar, and if they're not, obviously this lesson is to show you where they are and what they do, and also you can continue to practice on your own as you will this week. Sorry if you're hearing my cat. So the research databases at the top are from Gale, which is great. We, in this course, often use the opposing viewpoints and the global issues one, obviously. And these are great. If you click on them, you can see their home screens. One of the tabs that I really like is, also you'll notice on the Schoology page, you have to enter a password if you're not in the school. So the one for this one is Overton. But this is what the Global Issues database looks like. You can browse issues if you're not really sure. My favorite page is this one, like as far as searching topics. And this is a great resource for when you begin planning your paper 2 and you're thinking about, what do I really want to look into? What's a global issue that I find compelling? Each of these are like topic pages that they have. So we were talking about digital privacy, or we will talk about that. I'm sure they have that as a topic. They do. Digital information privacy. So this issue, they've grouped, given you an overview. That's kind of like a Wikipedia sort of text, or reference text. You'll see they have 180 different reference texts. The viewpoints and the magazines and the news are often sources that we're familiar with just as Google researchers, right? News from major dailies or magazines like The Economist or Time Magazine. The viewpoints one often pull from these same sources, but like this one down here is from the New York Times, so you can kind of see there's overlap there. Academic journals is obviously a great place to go. It gives you a different type of source. There are audio sources if you find yourself wanting to listen, and the primary sources, we talked about this at the beginning of the year, that moniker and designation really isn't helpful to us. That's more of a history term, but you can always kind of wander. They also do related topics, which is great, and you can search within this single page on digital privacy to find materials. I actually really like the viewpoints. That's usually where I go myself. And this is what the page looks like. And you can see down here related topics, which is cool. So this is what a research database looks like. Now, added beauty, let's say I'm clicking on the viewpoints and I find a source that I really like. Let's say this fits my paper topic perfectly, our imaginary paper topic. You can see the author and the date, the Lexile level. So if you find some of this reading material is too difficult, you can lower that in advanced search terms. Now these integrate to Google Drive and OneDrive, which is awesome. So as we are collecting articles in the future, using that integration is one of the best ways to use this tool effectively. So save stuff to your Google and your OneDrive. You can print them, obviously. Up at the top is also helpful too. You can get links, you can highlight on these texts. So if you have been struggling through virtual learning and you can't mark up your text, the devil is a liar, you can do it on here. The cite function is probably going to be your favorite, Chicago 17th edition, right there for you. You can copy, you can also export these, but I think just the classic copy paste is awesome. So all the Gale databases are integrated like this, so all of these are. JSTOR is perhaps my favorite. Now the Global Issues is my favorite for the Gale, but JSTOR is my favorite just in general. It's the highest level. This is a collegiate database, like grad school students, PhD students also use JSTOR, and there are a few others like ProQuest and things like that, but I had the library purchase JSTOR for us and really love it. Let's go to the database passwords because I forgot what it is for JSTOR. They've done it here with little images so you can kind of match. They put a little chart here for you. So all of the ones for Overton, or sorry, all the ones for Gale, the password is Overton. Okay, so it's JOHS. John Overton High School. I think it was Bobcats. Okay, so you'll do advanced search and browse just the same. The text analyzer is cool here. Let's say we were looking for neurotechnology in our new topic. I probably shouldn't have put so you can see lots of different results when you put in a search term, and we'll talk about search terms later. You can see what kind of source it is. It's a book chapter, journal article. You can create and refine your search results here if you only want journals or recently published works, that kind of thing. So that's JSTOR. Down here, the Tennessean is great. We have a subscription to the Tennessean, which will be really valuable during your paper 3 local sources, or sorry, local project. So you can find that local source there. I think it's also listed here under passwords, the username. And if your family wants to use that and you want to use that, that's great. The Limitless Libraries databases and the Tennessee Electronic Library are also good. I will show you those at a later date just because I can only record 15 minutes on this screencast. So let's go back to our folder in Schoology. So this document gives you some pro tips on how to use databases, things like search terms like I mentioned, and you can check that out today or at a later date. The next resource I want to show you is something called an open access journal, which eliminates paywalls. So all of these databases the school has purchased for us, you know, we paid for the subscription. All of these journals and directories of journals are free of cost. So let's look at the DOAJ for an example. This is a directory, right? So it's not one open journal. It has multiple. So this, I think, is the home page. I've moved over to Browse Subjects, as you can see here. And also, there are 15,000 journals housed on this directory, which is great, because we will all, you know, cover various topics with our paper 2. You can, you know, just search a subject in general, or if you know, like, where you're going, we'll still keep our digital privacy focus through this little mini lesson. You can view, sorry, wrong button. View the different journals and articles that are there for you within this topic, and you'll still search and use effective search terms here as well. You always want to go full text. Abstract is almost just the summary, it's the trailer, right? Full text is going to be important. And anytime that you use Google Scholar or just use the World Wide Web and you see a journal article that is not available full text, come into one of these open access journal directories and try to find it. So you can put the title, and then you'll notice here we talked about DOIs at the beginning of the year. These little like social security numbers for articles, you can search just by the DOI. So always use all these resources, especially these open access ones, if you can't find your source elsewhere. So think tanks and statistical websites. You've already seen some material from one of these, the Gallup visual data that you saw on the BLM source board. Like I said, came from Gallup. And think tanks and statistical websites are great places to find originating sources. Now that's an important term. It's in our terms PowerPoint. Originating sources we talked about don't have that level of analysis. It's not a secondary source, you know, it's not a journalist, it's not even an expert commenting. Oftentimes it's just the raw data, let's say. The raw research, like you can see with Pew Research, like census data, polling reports, things like that. This is going to be obviously topic specific, so, you know, like if we're still keeping our digital privacy topic, you know, I may not use any census data. That may be irrelevant originating sources for my topic. So be mindful when you come to these that you're looking for something quantitative. I mean, there are some qualitative things, but the focus is quantitative here. If you don't know what a think tank is, it's kind of like a nonprofit group of, like an organization. There are like conservative think tanks. There are like more progressive think tanks. There are some devoted to business, different industries. It's like, I don't know, you can Google it. Okay. Let's go back to the folder. The conversation is one of my favorite recent finds. I think I found it 2 years ago, which is, to you guys probably sounds old, but slightly recent for me. The conversation has articles written by, often, like most of the time, I'm trying to think if I've ever seen one that was not written by a college professor, but they're all written by academics working around the country. Here's one from somebody at Vanderbilt University. You can see Purdue University, University of South Carolina. Their like subtitle here, Academic Rigor with a Journalistic Flair, I think is a great way to describe this website. So they have the academic rigor of professionals working in different universities, but the writing is not so academic, you know, it's more accessible to a wider audience, so that's why they say journalistic flair. So let's look at our science and technology topic. Private browsing, what it does and doesn't do. Have you guys read about cookies? You know, I think that's interesting. Maybe we'll find something to read about that. So this article was written by these two experts, right? Their expertise is listed there. Professor of Computer Science and Engineering at Carnegie Mellon, which is a great school. And then it looks like Hannah Habib, her research assistant there at Carnegie Mellon, helped her write this article. You can view it in different languages, republish. It's nice because you can see the level of expertise. It makes validation really easy. That's why I really like this website. And I mean, it's like, I don't ever see just widely accessible academic work on the databases. Like it's either a news article or it's something peer-reviewed and academic. The website, the conversation is a really happy middle for especially our class. So those are the research resources. Take some time today to review that content and you know, navigate it on your own, not just with the screen share. So thank you for your attention for this asynchronous lesson, and email me with any questions or stop by office hours later today.